Welcome back to the channel. It is time for episode 7 of our read-along book club of Steven Erikson's Gardens of the Moon. But before I begin, I think I should mention that the publisher themselves reached out to me. They emailed me saying I was breaching copyright by showing the text right around here. So what I had to do is go back through all the videos, blur that text, and unfortunately, moving forward, it's just going to be the book art. Unless you viewers out there have a better suggestion of what I might put up there. So I apologize. I know sometimes it's more interesting to see me read along with the text or what I'm highlighting, and I can also point at things of interest, but unfortunately, you'll just have to deal with my voice and my face, so I'm sorry about that. So we are on chapter 8. We are on a brand new section called Book 3, The Mission, and this involves our bridge burner friends, and let me give a little bit more room for the screen. There we go. We begin with marionettes dance afield beneath masterly hands. I stumble among them, crossed by the strings, entangled two-step, and curse all these fools in their mad pirouette. I shall not live as they do, oh no, leave me in my circle dance. These unbidden twitchings, you see, I swear on Hood's grave, is artistry in motion. Sayings of the fool, then be Buell. This is very reminiscent of our friend Hairlock, who is in fact a marionette. So let us begin with chapter 8. We have a little passage by our friend Talk the Younger. He stepped down then among women and men, the sigil stripped in her foul cleansing. There on the blood-soaked sand spilled the lives of emperor and first sword. So tragic this treachery. He was of the old guard, commanding the honed edge of empire's fury. And so in stepping down, but not away, he remained the remembrance before her eyes, the curse of conscience she would not stand. A price was placed before him that he glanced over in first passing, unknowing and so unprepared, in stepping down among women and men, he found what he'd surrendered and damned its reawakening. The bridge burners. Speaking of which, that's who we are with this chapter. We are back with our friends, the bridge burners. I thought the mission, right? This book 3 was going to be about the mission our friends from the previous section talked about. But again, threads are converging. We are having our friends from earlier in the book coming to join the people in Darujistan, because we see now Sergeant Whiskey Jack squatted on a dome of bedrock up from the pebble beach, gazing out over the misty calm surface of Lake Azure, which is, we know that is where the giant floating mountain went and retreated. So far to the south on the lake's opposite shore rose the faint glow of Darujistan. So our friends here are on a beach. They are ready to cross over into Darujistan. We have Kalam and a black Moranth approaching, picking their way through the mossy tumble of rocks at the base of the slope. And this is when we get a closer look at the Moranth, what they look like, what they sound like, at least somewhat what they look like. So Whiskey Jack, he approaches the black Moranth and says, I thought your munitions were getting scarce. And the Moranth replies with selectively bird that steals. It's kind of I guess a different way of referring to Whiskey Jack. You are well known to us, bridge burner. You tread the enemy's shadow. From the Moranth, assistance will never be scarce. So we understand that the black Moranth, or this individual, know Whiskey Jack quite well, apparently. It is alluded to here and there throughout these passages. And the Moranth continues, you asked of the fate of one of our kind, a warrior with but one arm, who fought at your side in the streets of Nathalog many years ago. He lives still. We also learned that the bridge burners are going about a different plan, one that is hopefully not going to get them killed. And Whiskey Jack addresses the Moranth. Tell me, Moranth, might a squadron of your black be patrolling this area 2 weeks from now? And the Moranth responds with, such unscheduled patrols are common. I expect to command one myself in 2 weeks' time. There's a bit of a camaraderie, I guess you could say, between the Moranth or this individual and Whiskey Jack, because this individual continues to divulge information to us when he says, we are not so unalike. In our eyes, deeds have measure. We judge. We act upon our judgments. As in Pale, we match spirit with spirit. 18,739 souls departed in the purge of Pale, one for each Moranth confirmed as a victim of Pale's history of its enmity toward us. Spirit with spirit, bird that steals. There are worms within your empire's flesh, but such degradation is natural in all bodies. Your people's infection is not yet fatal. It can be scoured clean. The Moranth are skilled at such efforts. And Whiskey Jack, he's intrigued when he says, how exactly do you intend this scouring? He recalled the wagons piled with corpses winding out of Pale and struggled against the ice tingling along his spine. But then the Moranth decides he's going to leave it at that, and we are going to move on. You will find us here in 2 weeks' time, bird that steals. And the Moranth then departs, and Fiddler comes up and he says quietly, Sarge? And then Whiskey Jack responds with, all right, the original plan's been scrapped since it was intended to get us all killed. I didn't like that part. So we'll do it my way and hopefully get out alive. And he is splitting up the team. 2 objectives, 2 teams. Kalam will lead one, and with him will be Quick Ben and... He hesitated. And sorry. I'll lead the other team. The first task is to get into the city unnoticed, out of uniform. He looked to Mallet. I take it the grain delivered. Neither nods, and he says, it's a local make, all right. 18-foot fisher, 4 oars. Should get us across the lake easy enough, even a couple of nets included. And this is when they're asking if anyone fishes. And of course, Sari speaks up, very eerily, and she says, I have, a long time ago. Because we know Sari used to be the fisher girl. Now she is a possessed demon of some sort. And now, with a new scene break, we are with Quick Ben, and we get a glimpse at what our friend Hairlock has been up to. So in a secluded glade in the forest, Quick Ben poured white sand in a circle and sat down in its center. And he's doing some magically bits, and then here we are. Hairlock! An outer stick twitched, turned slightly, then fell silent. Hairlock! So he's just yelling, summoning Hairlock, presumably. And he continues with, Hairlock, he whispered. You've gone too far, too deep. This warren has swallowed you and will never spit you out. You're losing control, Hairlock. And he watched himself continue spinning, whirling through the caverns of chaos. What is that? I don't know. A parallel dimension? I guess a warren dimension of some kind? Looking around, he saw that he stood on a spar of rock, rising at an angle, its jagged apex a dozen feet in front of him. And he turned to see Hairlock perched atop the apex, its wooden body smeared and scorched, the doll's clothing ripped and frayed. This is the spar of Andy, isn't it? Quick Ben asks. And Hairlock's little round head bobs. Halfway. Now you know how far I have gone, wizard. To the very foot of the warren, where power finds its first shape, and all is possible. But Quick Ben counters with, how does it feel standing in the middle of all that creation but able to touch it, to use it? It's too alien, isn't it? It burns you with every reach. I'll master it, Hairlock hissed. You know nothing. Nothing. We learn a little bit more from Quick Ben about something or some things that lurk here. Though they are few in number, there are creatures who call this realm home. They dislike intruders. Have you seen what they do to them? What they leave behind? Then Hairlock reminds Quick Ben that, you are my protector, he snaps. I am bound to you, wizard. The responsibility is yours, nor will I hide the fact if I am taken. Ooh, big words, Hairlock. Tell me, how fares Tattasail? Her recovery is a difficult one. The hound Gira tracked me. Hairlock shifted uneasily. There was a skirmish. And this is when we learn about the encounter with Perrin and Tattersail, how he, with a single swipe, wounded Gear, the roided out hound. And we know now that Tashrin has sent out his servants. He sends out his servants and they stalk the warrens. They hunt for signs of who and what I am and why. Tashrin knows your squad is involved. He knows you're trying to save your own skins. He wants you all dead, wizard. And they converse more about this, normal sword that Perrin has, but he seemingly was able to dispatch or at least wound Gear. And one other thing they have a brief chat about, one thing that we are very familiar with, is when Hairlock says, she screams something about a coin that has spun, but now it has fallen. It has bounced. It has entered someone's hand. We know whose hand that is. Gear should have killed her, would have, if not for that idiot captain. What god plays with this fool noble? The poet spoke on, but his words dwindled into inaudible mumbles. Then Quick Ben reasserts himself when he says, pursue Tashrin's plans, he commanded. Then he kicked hard. The toe of his boot struck Hairlock's chest and sent the puppet spinning, so pretty hilarious. He's just saying, get the hell to work, and he boots him off into this strange place he finds himself in. And Hairlock flew out over the edge, then fell downward. His outraged snarl dwindled as he disappeared into the yellow cloud. So he's just like, meow, falling through these clouds. The more the Warren twisted Hairlock, the more power he would command. That is something that perhaps worries Quickben. Now we are back with our bridge burners. Whiskey Jack rose amid silence. The expressions arrayed around him were sober, eyes downcast or fixed elsewhere, closed into some personal, private place, where swam the heaviest thoughts. The lone exception was Sorry, who stared at the sergeant with bright, approving eyes. Big shocker there, right? Big shocker. And Kalam says, "Everyone looks alive. Load up the boat and get it ready." "The squad looks beat, Sergeant. Fiddler trots. The hedge moved enough dirt in those tunnels to bury the Empire's dead." And he's a little bit worried about the approach, but Whiskey Jack commands him like, this is the only plan we have. This is the only thing that's going to work. At least he believes so. But he also grunts with, "Since when does the girl know about fishing?" And Whiskey Jack agrees. "I know. Came out of nowhere, didn't it? Bloody convenient." So what do? They load all of the equipment onto the boat before getting it into the water, and here we are with a little bit of a beached vessel for now. And Whiskey Jack asks for a sail. And Sorry says, "Yes, we have some canvas. We'll need a mast." And they take Fiddler to go make one. And this is one thing I must not have picked up on, but apparently Trots has filed teeth when we see Trots climbed inside and he sat down at the stern. He stretched out his long legs and draped an arm over the splashboard. He bared his filed teeth in what might have been a smile. And Whiskey Jack turned to a grinning Kalam and Quickben. "Well," he demanded, "what are you waiting for?" And then the grins died. So that brings us to the end of this very short chapter, chapter 8. Hopefully that was a nice little break for you. I know I was a little bit late with this video, so I apologize for that, but that is okay. Chapter 9 is a long one. It is, by my reading speed, a 2-hour long chapter in my Kindle. So I will see you in the next video, hopefully very soon, at least a week, I promise, with chapter 9 of Gardens of the Moon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know what you're thinking of the book so far. Chapter 8 was a nice little break again. I'm very excited to be back with the Bridge Burners. Like I mentioned a video or two ago, maybe, I believe they are my favorite characters of all of the characters in this book so far. So even though the rest of my Bridge Burners on the Discord have seemingly abandoned me, all but a very small few, I'm glad you are still with me because I'm going to see this to the end. So if you're not already on our Discord and would like to discuss this in more detail with me and the scant few remaining who are still reading, check out the link. It is in the description. Other than that, thanks again, and I will see you in the next one with Chapter 9.